Today is day 3, the geography of the Old Testament. The size of our solar system is beyond comprehension. To get some perspective, imagine you are in the middle of the Bonneville salt flats with nothing but tabletop flat ground around you for miles and miles. There you put down a beach ball 2 feet in diameter, which you use to represent the sun. To get a feel for the immensity of the solar system, walk about a city block and put down a mustard seed for the first planet, Mercury. Go another block and for Venus put down an ordinary BB. Mark off yet another block and put down a green P to represent Earth. A final block from there, put down a mustard seed to represent Mars. Then sprinkle some grass seed around for an asteroid belt. We have now walked about 4 blocks and we have a beach ball, Sun mustard seed, Mercury BB, Venus P, Earth mustard seed, Mars and grass seed, asteroid belt. New things begin to stretch out. Continue for another 1/4 mile. Place an orange on the ground for Jupiter. Walk another 1/3 mile and put down a golf ball for Saturn. Now lace up your tennis shoes and check their trend. Then step off another mile and for Uranus drop a marble. Go another mile and place a cherry there for Neptune. Finally walk for another 2 miles and then put down another marble for Pluto. At last go up in an airplane and look down on a smooth surface almost 10 miles in diameter. We have a beach ball, a mustard seed, a BB, a pea, another mustard seed, some grass seed, an orange, a golf ball, a marble, a cherry and another marble. To understand our replica of the solar system even better, use another beach ball to represent Alpha Centauri, the next nearest star to our sun. You would have to go another 6,720 miles and put it down in Japan. Understanding the size and the location of things and the relationships and distance between them gives us perspective, just as this example gives us perspective about the solar system. A knowledge of geography can give perspective about the events of the Bible. It is helpful to know the names, locations and relative positions of important places. Otherwise, we skim over information without comprehension or visualization, and this makes the Bible less interesting and less easily understood. The one who is ignorant of geography cannot know history. The Bible is largely history, so to begin our mastery of the history of the Bible, we must start with the geography of the Bible. Bodies of water. The primary anchor points for mastering the geography of the Bible are the bodies of water. Do you read each description? Go to the work map and insert the name of the body of water beside the matching number. 1. The Mediterranean Sea, the land of the Old Testament, lies east of this beautiful blue body of water. 2. The Sea of Gales. To call this body a sea seems to be an overstatement. It is a fresh water lake that is 7 miles wide and 14 miles long. It lies about 36 miles inland from the Mediterranean. Thirdly, the Jordan River, following south of the Sea of Galilee. The Jordan River travels far 65 miles as the crow flies to empty into the Dead Sea. Many are surprised at how much history has resolved around such a small river. For the Dead Sea, shaped like a giant hot dog with a bite out of the lower third, the Dead Sea lies at the bottom of the world. It is the lowest point on land, almost 3,000 feet below sea level, as its lower point, so that water flows into it but no water flows out of it. As a result, the water has a very high concentration of mineral deposits and does not support normal plant or animal life, hence the name Dead Sea. 5. The Nile River, perhaps the most famous river in the world. The Nile flows through the heart of Egypt, spreads out like so many fingers and empties into the waiting arms of the Mediterranean. 6. Tigris and 7. Euphrates rivers. These twin rivers flow for almost 1,000 miles each before they join and flow into the Persian Gulf. 8. The Persian Gulf. These last three bodies of water, the Tigris, the Euphrates and the Persian Gulf, form the easternmost boundary for the lands of the Old Testament. The Tigris and the Euphrates flow through present-day Iraq, while the Persian Gulf separates Iran from Saudi Arabia. Locations. With the geographical framework offered by the bodies of water, we can establish the locations that are relevant to the Old Testament. As you read the description of each location, insert its name beside the appropriate letter in the location work map, and that follows. The Garden of Eden. The exact location of the Garden of Eden, where everything began, is impossible to pinpoint. However, it was near the convergence of 4 rivers, 2 of which were the Tigris and Euphrates. B. Canaan, Israel. This smallish piece of real estate, which lies between the Mediterranean coast and the Sea of Galilee, Jordan River, Dead Sea, changes names throughout the Old Testament. In Genesis, it is called Canaan, after the Hebrew people established themselves in the land. In the book of Joshua, it becomes known as Israel. 1,300 years later, at the beginning of the New Testament, the land is known by its regions from south to north: Judea, Samaria, and Galilee. C. Jerusalem, located just off the northwestern shoulder of the Dead Sea. This city, nestled in the centre mountains of Israel, is so central to the story of the Old Testament that it must be singled out and identified in the capital of the nation of Israel. And D is Egypt, the grand dame of ancient civilization. Egypt plays a central role in the history of the Old Testament. E. Azariah, located at the head waters of the Tigris and the Euphrates. This great water world power is notable in the Old Testament for conquering the northern kingdom of Israel and dispensing her people to the 4 winds. F is Babylonia, another gigantic history world power. This fabulous, albeit short-lived nation conquered Assyria. It also conquered the southern kingdom of Judea 136 years after Assyria conquered the northern England kingdom of Israel. It is found in Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates. In the middle of rivers is the meaning. G is Persia. The final historical superpower of the Old Testament is located in the northern bank of the Persian Gulf. Persia comes into play by conquering Babylonia and by allowing the Hebrews to return from captivity to rebuild the city of Jerusalem and reinstate temple worship. If these historical notes are foreign to you, don't worry about it now. Instead, content yourself with learning these locations so that as the story unfolds, the names of these locations will mean something to you. Now, compare the ancient map you have just filled in with the following contemporary map of the same region. It might also be helpful to get this Old Testament information into perspective by seeing how the map of the Old Testament compares with an overlay of a map of the state of Texas. The entire land of the Old Testament is approximately the same size as the state of Texas. Travelling from the Persian Gulf to Israel would be like going the 875 miles from the southern tip at the Gulf of Mexico to the top of the Panhandle. Travelling from Israel to Egypt would be like going the 275 miles from Odessa to El Paso. If you keep this in mind as the story of the Bible unfolds, it will help you keep geographical perspective. And now review. Repetition is the key of manual ownership, the geography of the Old Testament. Review the 8 bodies of water and the 7 locations by placing the numbers and the letters by the appropriate names below. For your bodies of water, the Mediterranean Sea, the Sea of Galilee, the Jordan River, and the locations Eden, Israel, and Jerusalem. The Dead Sea, the Nile River, the Tigris River, the Euphrates River, the Persian Gulf, Egypt, Assyria, Babylonia, and Persia. The self-test, what you can learn tomorrow is built on what you learned today. The geography of the Old Testament as the final exercise, fill in the blanks from memory, remember, the blanks with numbers are bodies of water and the blanks with letters are locations. Excellent, your knowledge of the geography of the Old Testament will enable you to understand and envision the history that unfolds from it. You have just mastered an important section. That's all for today, thanks.